Hello, everyone. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is feeling safe. Let's start off by talking about the markets right now. And as you can see here, the futures of the major index funds is actually down, despite several hours ago it was in the positive range. You can see here oil has been hammered. I believe it went below $20 a barrel, and now, believe it or not, is having some kind of rebound. Although keep in mind, the futures could change very fast, a very volatile market. I believe just several minutes ago, the Dow Jones was close to being negative 1%, and it's starting to bounce back. So we'll really have to see. I'm also really keeping my eyes on April 1st. We'll see how this really goes along. And believe it or not, I just have to say that this epidemic is really accelerating the economic trends, which is to point out that I've heard Macy's has furloughed a lot of their workers. And what that means is that they're not, from what I was told, they're not paying them. They're still giving them healthcare benefits, but then again, Macy's is experiencing a lot of trouble. So this could accelerate a lot of the brick and mortar closings that's happening all across the world, believe it or not. And make no mistake, a lot of companies are hiring, so it's not all doom and gloom. A lot of this pain is short term, but a lot of it is not. And I'm going to explain in the details as we go along in this video. So let's take a look right now. You can see here that the Asian markets are quite mixed. Let's take a look at the bond markets. Still not much, a lot of activity. Rises only to 0.7%. Gold, as you can see here, a lot of people tell us it was going to be 2,000. It has not happened. Again, the dollar is not doing too bad, believe it or not. So what we really want to talk about is, first of all, what's going to happen to the Las Vegas economy. Now, I want to read this breaking headlines. The Department of Transportation to allow airlines receiving coronavirus aid. Oh, it's just gone. That's okay. Let's go on to this first article. Now, as you can see here, Economist says these cities will be hardest hit by the COVID-19 recession. Now, keep in mind, though, economists can be wrong, but they have a lot of good points. Look at this. Goldman Sachs pointed out that U.S. GDP will wither about 24%. Wow, that's a lot. Let's go down the map. As you can see here, now, this isn't really so much of a blue state, red state thing. So you can see here some blue states like Vermont, not too bad. Some red states like Nebraska, not so bad. Idaho is not so bad. I've actually thought about moving there, believe it or not. Now, which state is among the worst? As you can see here, Hawaii, Wyoming, Alaska, Texas, Florida, Nevada. What does this really tell you? A lot of these economies that are heavily dependent on tourism, and not to mention natural resources, particularly oil. Now, then again, oil prices can rise back up really fast, but the tourism sector is going to experience longer-term pain. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to guess which area is among the top of the list? Do. All right, let's reveal the answer. And as you can see here, ta-da, Paradise, Nevada, and that includes the Las Vegas Strip. Well, what a shocker. North Las Vegas, number 5, Henderson. New Orleans, Orlando. What a lot of these places have in common, they are largely tourism based. I don't know why they put Santa Ana. I think Anaheim would be more reasonable because they have Disneyland. But other than that, as you can see here, but keep in mind, Santa Ana has a lot of non-legals live there. 23% of Nevada and 17% of Hawaii's workforce. Unbelievable. Just think about a lot of the tax revenue that we're going to experience. And don't be surprised if Sisolak and all these guys are going to consider putting a tax increase. And hey, you know what? They might even put a state income tax. I don't think that's going to be pretty, ladies and gentlemen. So, South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota are not going to do so bad. But as you can see here, it's not looking pretty. Now, this is some Facebook post I read earlier. I shared it. And somebody put out, what would happen to Las Vegas if the casinos never really reopened in the first place? In other words, we really didn't have legalized gambling. Well, maybe our economy would have been much different. We might have different industries in town. But I don't think Las Vegas would have been like completely dead. I think it would have still existed. The thing is that, well, you can look at Reno and it's growing and home prices are higher, but the gaming economy has shrunk a lot. Why? This is mainly because of the fact that Reno is a real alternative, I guess you could say, suburb to San Francisco. And Las Vegas' affordability made it a lot more attractive, which is one of the reasons why it grew a lot. Although we wouldn't have been as large as we are now. And keep in mind, this is one of the reasons why Phoenix grew rapidly as well. Now, I can tell you this, believe it or not, I think if we didn't have legalized gambling, then I don't think Nevada would have been such a blue state, because mainly the immigrants / unions wouldn't have been such a very, very large presence. Keep that in mind. So you can really credit that to individuals like perhaps Steve Wynn, even though he did support Trump, because that mega resort boom encouraged a lot of them to move to Las Vegas. And one can argue that Bezos or people like Elon Musk could reverse course. But anyway, that's a totally different topic. So let's look at this article right here. Current market conditions. Not like the last recession. I somewhat disagree, but let's take a look at this. Let's start with the positive impact. Online retail, gold mining. Hard to say. I mean, gold hasn't done too well. And again, this is from Moody's. I don't trust Moody's. They don't have a good track record, but I think there's some good things that we can learn from. Low exposure, rental, transportation, pharmaceuticals, real estate. I don't think so. I mean, real estate's going to have a lot of long-term pain. It's going to reduce a lot of confidence. We have to look at mortgage rates. That's another factor. But if we don't have a lot of buying demand, because a lot of people are not afraid to look at open houses and things like that, and they don't have a lot of confidence, they have to pay their bills, it could really have a hard impact, and it could burst a lot of overvalued real estate markets all across the United States, especially here in Las Vegas. Moderate exposures, oil and gas. Okay, so they're not so bearish, unlike the other articles. Steel producers, technology hardware. So this is why a lot of people argue, well, Silicon Valley is not going to be among the hardest hit. Now, high exposure. Look at this. Apparel, automotive suppliers, automotive manufacturers. Not looking good for Detroit. Retail, non-food, passenger airlines, leisure and tourism and gaming. I know somewhere that has a lot of those things. And by the way, I'm very, very concerned, folks. It could get so bad here, God knows, crime rates can just shoot up. Misery and all this stuff will just get out of hand. It's going to be really hard to trust people. Now, they say that we're in a recession. And so look at this: higher risk, food and beverage, lowest risk, housing and utilities. Not as the same as last time. Not exactly, but I think it's going to rhyme, because then once again, the last boom and the one before in the 2000s, they were largely propped up by very low interest rates, low lending requirements, a lot of this pumping up and so forth. I think they're going to really, really lime a lot. New home construction will be impacted more than residential resale. No duh, at least they're talking. Expensive markets will be impacted by affordable markets. It's hard to really say, because they just pointed out in another article, well, these oil and gas regions and these tourism areas, they're not so expensive. Low growth markets will impact more than high growth markets. Retail will be more impacted by industrial, obviously. So higher interest rates will certainly have an impact, and interest rates will be low, but we do not know exactly. We will begin a recovery. And by the way, I want to make this very, very clear. The stock market will not be a true measure of the overall economy, especially impacting the average person. And by the way, the stock market, you got to look at earnings. Because I have a feeling that we can see kind of like a double dip downturn. So we have the coronavirus dip, then we have this recovery, then the real estate market really gets in trouble, and then we will see the real downfall. Now let's take a look at the other article. As you can see here, Penn National Gaming furloughed 26,000 workers. Sells Tropicana. And by the way, a lot of these hotels, just like the brick and mortar retail like Macy's, they have been struggling. And by the way, Tropicana, really, I think they should kind of get a pass or something, because they didn't charge for parking. I parked there many times. They had free pools. I would go visit. Much better service. But, then again, it has that 1980s feel or something, and a lot of people don't like it. So, as you can see here, 26,000 workers. Wow. And I believe that does include the Tropicana Hotel, Penn National Gaming. And they closed the Tropicana Las Vegas. And the 30-day shutdown of non-essential businesses to end April 16, although it could extend. Now, my question is, what about the stadium? What about EDC? We going to pay for all that? What about the MSG Sphere? What about the Drew Project, Resorts World? Think about that. So, let's go on to the next article. 12 scary predictions about Las Vegas in 2020. Again, this is possibility. I'm not sure. I don't necessarily agree to all that. Raiders postponed. The opening of the new Raiders Allegiant Stadium will be posted 2021. NFL is on life support. That's no surprise. That's very likely to happen. MSG Empty Circle. It can't be postponed. I don't know about 2030 though. No buffet for you. We have to drive to South Point for crab legs. I'm not a fan of South Point. I've been there. I wasn't a fan of that buffet at all. But then again, when you look at the Bacchanal buffet in Caesar's Palace, and they charge like $50 to $70, they can't afford to take a haircut. Give me a break. Free parking, yeah, that's likely. But then again, you got to look at number 5, the resorts fees, and it's hard to believe that that's actually going to go on. So basically, the hotel room rate will be like $10, and then they'll put like a $45 resort fee. I don't know. Cirque du Soleil is going to be gone. I don't know about that. But then again, I believe the last show I saw was in the Caesar's Palace, which was called, I can't remember what it's called. It cost about like $100 or something. I had a coupon, but it was really, really good, by the way. I've heard mixed reviews about Cirque du Soleil. So it's going to become not so much a 24/7 town. I don't know about that. It's hard to say. Bellagio Fountain will be closed and transformed into retail space. That's pretty likely, although I don't know. Then again, the Dubai Fountain, I heard, is actually larger. They could make it even larger and more attractive. I do think, however, retail space is not hard to believe because, well, then again, retail is closing and they're in trouble too. And I don't know if people are going to have a lot of discretionary spending. The Luxor light is turned off. I've seen that before earlier in the year. They did redo the Luxor light. Again, if they turn it off, it's going to really backfire them. No pictures, please. Half-naked people. The experience is evolving. Come on. Give me a break. Crappy gloves. Chip sanitizing machines. Slot machines with Perel wipes. All those things. Small, medium, large. It's hard to say. I made you disappear. David Copperfield will still do 500 plus show a year, even if he's performing in an empty room. The guy is a machine. These are the worst case scenario predictions. Well, what do you guys know? Do you guys really think that there's going to be a lot of predictions coming along? I, first of all, believe the service is going to change. I think that, they've been very picky about their customers, pushy, a lot of those other things. I think they're going to be more laid back. I think they're going to deliver better deals. So that's really a better possibility. But other than that, it's hard for me to believe that a lot of the benefits of the pre-mega resort era is going to come back. So you again, let me know what you think. Do you really guys think that some of these trends are going to come? What do you really see? But other than that, I can tell you folks, it's not looking very pretty. And it looks like, once again, we will be at least in the top 5 hardest hit in the country. And believe it or not, I think it's going to deliver a lot of good things, folks. Home prices are going to fall. Hopefully rent, prices of visitation is going to fall. Hopefully this will shake up the political system, the Murrens, the campaign donors, the Culinary Union, the mass immigration. And not to mention the most important thing, which is the largest concern I have living in Las Vegas, is the urban planning system. This idea where uses are so separated and it's so dependent on cars. And you've seen me criticize the housing and everything out here. Hopefully that will change, and hopefully people will listen to my solutions, and not to mention they will be tourist areas as well. All right, everybody, thank you so much. If you're a first-time visitor, please click that bell. Please subscribe. Please share my video. We really need channels like this to rise. Hopefully, once the recovery begins, we'll have real alternative media. Take care, everyone. Please stay safe and healthy. Talk to you later.